Hey everyone, it's crZym, and today I want to take a look at some of the tactics that you can use in Rush. In this case on the map Operation Riverside on the attacker side, and the defender side I'm gonna do that one as well, but let's look at the attackers first. So when you come out of your spawn you have to make a decision between A and B. And my suggestion is to go for B first for a couple of reasons. First, it's closer to the enemy spawn and it's more on the uphill side. So if you take A and then you gotta fight uphill to B and you're spawning right behind it, you're gonna have a much harder time. You get two dirtbags and a little bird. The little bird doesn't play too much of a role, in my opinion. You can hold down the enemy little bird and drop off people, but yeah, overall it's not that big of a threat since there are a lot of trees, a lot of rocks, a lot of cover, so not too big of an issue. The two dirt bikes come in handy, especially in the beginning. You can really rush B through that little track here and get there really fast. So the first route you can take is right through here, really fast route, and a couple of guys should go here. You can also go the left route, but the most important thing in my opinion is you can either go around that side or you can jump up here and not fall down as I do in my case, but just get up there. There are a couple of other ways to get up here. Jump over the little tree and then you can simply get above B, which will give you a great angle to kill any defenders that are in the area. And if you manage to just capture the whole area up here, you're gonna have a lot easier time to take out B, because you can really shoot from above, you can chuck grenades down there and everything's gonna be quite fine. So B shouldn't be too much of a problem if you can manage to get that upper area. Now if you have taken B, you can then push down through the back here and get to A, but most likely the defenders are gonna wipe you out because they will spawn right behind that. So let's take a look at how we can approach A. The first thing is for sure you're gonna come from B, and the other thing is as well, what works for B does work a little bit for A. You can get on the upper side here all the way up to there, and this will give some snipers a good position to snipe down on A, but it's a little bit, if you can look, the distance is much greater than it is from B. So if you're on the upper side on B, you're right above it, and this is not too bad of an angle, but it's still further away. So, but what is a really good advantage point is this rock here, and I like to use it just like with suppressor, for example. You can climb on it. I don't know where exactly, I think it's on the other side, yeah. If you can manage to get up here, sneaky way, and position yourself right here with a silencer, and you know that that area is most of the time clear, then you can really protect A. Nonetheless, A is a little bit harder to take, so what you really want to try to do is get some people down here and try to kind of do a little sweep around the backside and try to clear some guys off there, and then it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So yeah, I'm gonna arm those two MCOMs now, and I'll see you in a bit after I've done that. So after you've taken out both MCOMs and you're waiting for the next base to move up, you should try to clear the area, especially the upper parts if you haven't done so before. And this is quite important, because if you don't, enemies will come up from here, rush down here, and potentially take your LOV that you get on this base. So you get an LOV, little bird, two dirt bikes, and the enemy gets a little bird and a BMP, which is basically the same as the LOV. So this is what you get right here. And here's another quite important thing. You should really clear this area out, and if you've done so, you should get a couple of guys, and if you see nobody doing it, you should do it yourself. Go up the right side, and you can see you got a pretty good angle on both the MCOMs from up here, but you're also likely to be shot because there's not a lot of cover. But still, it's important that you watch this area, because enemies are very likely to get up here and run into your bag, and you don't want that to happen. But another really important thing is that if you can manage to get up here, which you normally can, because not a lot of people are focusing on it, and you just gotta move fast, and then you can sit right here and have a little bit of cover from the rock. And the main reason for this is you can pick some people off that are spawning here, but you're not gonna stay alive too long. But what is important, you gotta go Angie, and normally the enemy LAV, BMP, or whatever you want to call it, is standing right here, and you can take a couple of RPG shots on it and really help your team out, because your LOV might struggle to get across the road, and this will help a lot. So a couple of guys on the right side is important. It's also important that a couple of guys stay in the middle, though you're not going to be likely to cross the road because there's going to be a shit ton of enemies in this area. You should stay here to pick a couple of enemies off to try to rush you and try to get into your bag. So if you see this area is completely deserted, go and secure it. It will help your team a lot. So let's take a look at the LOV and what it can do. Okay, great. So our LOE doesn't spawn apparently. So anyway, that's kind of a fail. I didn't know that. But anyway, so let's not worry too much about that. So let's just take a dirtbag for example. You could, if you take the LOV, go down that route, and that is what most people do. But as soon as you're standing here, you're gonna have the enemy BMP shooting at you, that Dow launcher shooting at you, those couple of guys with RPGs. You have pretty decent cover from here, but those RPGs guys are gonna shoot at you instantly. So a lot of angle to cover, and you're gonna be likely to get shot. So this is not too good of an idea as we look at it right now, because you have a lot of angles to worry about, and especially the enemy LOV is gonna wreck you in a second, because most of the time he stands over there. So a lot better route in my opinion is to go down the left side. And this is also a lane that a lot of the infantry is gonna push, and that's a good idea in general. So what you can do with the LOV then is shoot down from that angle, and you can also shoot through the little gap between those rocks, and you can use those rocks as your cover, drive forward, drive backward, and really helps out a lot. So you can, by doing that, take out the enemy BMP and then just cross the road, or if he's just playing too passive, just run over the road and try to get down here safely. This can be a bit of a struggle, so you better go down here so you do not get stuck in the rocks. And then you're down here, which is also great. You have a lot of cover there, a lot of cover there, and as long as you got a little bit of infantry around you, you're gonna be safe. The enemy BMP might be pushed up, but you know, if he's playing the passive, he's gonna stay there, and you can work that downwards area. So as I said, if you happen to destroy the enemy BMP, then you can use those road and just start spamming A, attacking A, and after doing that you can move then towards B. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And yeah, but let's look at the infantry a little bit more. If you can come down here, which most likely you are gonna be able to, since the defenders take a lot of time to move up here. So you will take some kind of position here, and then you can go for A for sure. Just use this kind of crates and steel walls as cover and work your way towards it. But what I usually do is just go down here, and you can use this rock as cover and pick off snipers, enemies that are sitting here. And as soon as you've done that and you can move up to that position, you're in a great advantage. You can then pour into A, and another great spot is down here. Gives you a lot of cover for people that are spawning there, and also those rocks. And by the time you're moving up here, you pretty much have done it, as long as the enemy PMB doesn't get back up. If he gets back up and your LOV messes up, you're in a little bit of a struggle, and then it's important that you have a couple of guys over there that take care of that BMP and just keep it busy. So after you've done that, there shouldn't be too much. You can literally walk into the spawn and pick people off as they spawn. So after you've taken those two MCOMs, we're gonna move forward to the next set. And this time around the LAV spawn, which is a great thing because it makes explaining things a lot easier. So let's start off with some of the tactics that you can use in the LAV first. And this is a quite important role. And what a lot of people tend to do is just ride it up here, go straight forward to that bridge. And by the time you're here, the enemy BMP is likely to stand between A and B, because there's hardly any other spot that you can play it, and you're gonna take a couple of shots. You can play that, you can get covered by that rock, that's alright. But there's actually one thing that I really like to do with the LOV on this section of the map, and it is quite effective surprisingly, and I'm gonna show it. It's really easy, but a lot of people don't seem to realize how effective that can be. This is mainly using the LAV to kind of flank around here, move through the river, which is a bit glitchy, but it should work. And so yeah, you can drive it all the way up here, and right now you're exposed, but wait in a second, you'll see you got that little hill as cover, and you can pillar right here. You know, you got this rock hill thing as cover. You can drive back and forwards. You can kill the enemy BMP as soon as it comes out of the spawn, and if he's smart, he will drive up here, but normally shouldn't be too much of a problem if you're prepared. So you can further than spam A, kill all of these guys in this area, and even shoot these dudes in this big hole in there that are sitting all over there. So this is really a great move that you can make. So there's either this way, or you just ram it right up the normal way, but I prefer this one actually. So let's leave it here, and one thing I gotta say is, as well, you can do this as infantry as well, but not go up here, but rather stay down there and follow this river and just be a little bit sneaky, and you gotta hope that nobody sees you when you're coming around here. And by doing this, you can move up like just behind all of them, and especially if you got a silencer, you can take out a lot of people. You will be behind of them, and everything is clear right in front of you. You're likely to get shot after some time because they're respawning behind you, but it's a lot of a distraction for the enemy if you're coming around behind them. So that's basically the left flank. The other thing that is pretty basic is going through the middle, just coming up here, and I think I don't have too much to say about that. It's just basically fighting over an area, not too much. So this is all of the middle stuff. You can approach this, you can go whatever. You most likely do A, that's not too hard. I generally find this base not too hard. And then you can also get around here, and you can either enter here, you will find a couple of enemies here, and flanking around the whole way is not a bad idea. Especially, I wouldn't go all the way to the back, since the enemy is gonna spawn all over there, and if you're running that way, time it takes you to get around here, you're probably to get shot. Rather enter through that entrance, and then you can come up here and try to clear the enemies out there camping inside this building. In a nutshell, this MCOM station here plays a lot like the last one at Strike at Karkand. Is pretty much a little bit the same. Shouldn't be too hard though. You just gotta watch for people camping in those corners and all that stuff. But if you got that LV up there, and we can see right now that if he's standing up there, you know, he can shoot all that stuff, all those people that are lying up there. So that's gonna be a great help. So yeah, I'm gonna arm these two MCOMs now, and we're gonna progress to the next one. So yet again, guys, the LAV did not spawn, so we gotta take a dirt bike instead again. So while the left flank on this base was particularly good, the left flank on the next one isn't good at all. The reason for this is simple. You can't go behind those rocks, and by going down here, you expose yourself to all the people up here and potentially some enemies that are still at their last spawn up here. So you can run a surprise through that, but enemies are gonna be all over that ridge here, and you're likely to get blasted. Same goes for the LRV. I wouldn't take it down that route. I mean, a couple of guys are definitely a good thing if they go down here, but in general, this is not really effective. So other things you can do. I'm gonna just focus on what the LRV should do right now and explain the other stuff in a second, but the LRV should basically go around and now do what isn't the best choice in the other situation, but right now it is quite well. You can shoot a little bit from here, and just you have a lot of cover here. Those rocks are really a great opportunity for you, and then you can just stand here, shoot at them. The enemy BMP is likely to stand up there, and if you got yourself enough breathing room, you can then go forward across the bridge. And so that's the only way that you can really play with this. I wouldn't suggest taking the LV down there for a couple of reasons. It's a lot harder to drive around down there. You're likely to get stuck in rocks and all that stuff, and we don't want that to happen. So, so the left flank isn't too good of a thing. The right flank is mainly for the LOV in my opinion. The infantry hasn't got too much of a chance going out the right flank since there isn't too much cover. As soon as you get past these rocks, there's not a lot of stuff you can do there. You can definitely try it, but my main advice is to clear out that area of enemies, which is quite important. They're gonna be all over these rocks because this is where the last that spawned, and make sure that you cleared it out, and then just go like head on for it, just down there, and you just gotta make a run. Hope that you don't get shot in the face, and as soon as you're down here, you have a decent position. You're not likely to get shot again. Clear a couple of enemies out there, maybe a couple there, and then you can normally. Wait, here it is. Jump up here. And this is one of the spots that I really like to play. You can then look up here directly to A. You can just duck behind cover quickly. Just move one step down and tuck down. And this is really a nice spot that I like to play, to pick a couple of enemies off. And then you can advance. You know, you have a little bit of cover here with these rocks lying down. And your right flank is clear and all that stuff. You can also move up here and all that goodie. One thing that is important, that when you stand down here, you take your time to clear up that hill, because there are gonna be tons of snipers up there as usual. So there's not too much tactics about that. When pretty much a head-on fight, I can't say too much. You pretty much gotta go for it. One thing that can be quite effective though is if you manage to get over the left side into here. Don't hesitate to take over that area. Try to shoot a couple of enemies there, and you can use that wall as your protection from enemies behind you, and start clearing out people that are in that area. So make sure that you clear this electrical facility, as I can call it right here, really well, because it's gonna hurt a lot if you leave a couple of medics in here, a couple of enemy medics, and they will just revive everybody and defuse your bomb if you've set it. So A is pretty much straightforward. It's pretty close to that one, so you're gonna be able to arm that pretty fast. The other thing is B, which is quite exposed and can be a little bit hard. There's frankly not too much you can do about it. You can go a little bit behind those blocks here, but still there's a lot of open ground to cover here. And your biggest opportunity in my opinion is just coming in numbers, getting a lot of medics in here, reviving, getting your elevator push. And the position of the AMCO is not too bad. You got a little bit of cover from enemy sniper fire there and there, and you can pretty much cover it from down here. If you're standing here, you know, you can cover it while they gotta come to you. So as soon as you got it armed, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but the initial arm can be a little bit of a hassle. Shooting down this building definitely helps a lot. So yeah guys, let's wait for these bombs to explode, and then I'm gonna be back with the last section. Now the last section of Operation Riverside is normally not the hardest one to take. At this point the enemy pretty much have given up if you push them that far. So yeah, the first route is down the right side. If you got your LV can push up that route, but it's a little bit hard since you got all of that open space to worry, and right flank isn't too good of an opportunity either. Most of these people advance through these rocks, and there's nothing wrong with that, though it can get a little bit hectic in there. There's a lot of people shooting. It's a hard fight to get through here, and this is pretty much a basic route, but I normally do another thing, which is in my opinion a lot better to do and also a lot more effective. And this is basically using the left flank again. And at first you gotta clear out enemies that are up here, maybe from the last base remaining, and don't just pull the flank too early. Don't go to the right just now, just push it all the way until you can see on this minimap this little truck here. And there might be people up here, so be careful, but you can just get around here, have these rocks as covers, and then you're right here. You do have this truck as a cover, and use this truck to hide yourself, go around the backside. A silencer helps a lot here. You might find occasional snipers camping up here, but they're normally not a lot of problem. And as soon as you're here, the only thing that you gotta hope is that nobody saw you, and then you can start picking people off camping up here and just peeking further and further. and then you just gotta go for it. Just risk it and run it. Normally people don't look back at you, so especially if you have a silencer, so you use a silencer, and then you're in a great spot. As long as there's no sniper above you, you can just shoot down, use those rocks, and just kill everyone from behind. As soon as in that spot, A is yours. You can then peek. If this manage to save their BMP, you can then shoot it with your small, and everything should be quite fine. You can also shoot B from here. You can shoot A, and so you got an angle on both ankles, which is great. And normally what happens, you first take A, and after doing that you can then move out and start killing people as they run in to defend B, because they expect most of their enemies to be here or above here, and if you're shooting them from the side, they're not just prepared for it. You can also take a position up here, which is a little bit cheeky because you can shoot right down in their spawn and so on. So if you have no more issues doing that, you can do it. But normally if you just stay right here and pick them off, you're good to go. So yeah guys, I hope that helps. I hope that you have a bit more fun playing these rush maps and a lot of more of success. If you have some other ideas, please tell me in the comments. If this helps you, leave a like. If you want to see more steps, subscribe. Anyway guys, I wish you a really good day, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.